you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Hey everybody, it's Bulldog back with some more Bounty Hunter content. This time we were breaking out one of the forgotten droids, IG-88, and we're going to use him as a lead to take out Darth Revan. We are going to disintegrate him before he even gets a single turn. It's a pretty cool team, pretty fun to run. It works very well as long as you have a faster Bosk than Darth Revan. So Bosk is a few speeds slower. I think 4, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't have that in front of me. That might be a few numbers off, but it's very close. He's slightly slower, so you do have to have slightly better mods, but it's nothing insane. It's something that a lot of people will have or can have if they put some of their fastest mods on Bosk. So it is a reliable option. And first off, huge shout out to ZoeFett for running this squad. You guys have been awesome helping me out with footage. So huge shout out for putting this together and sending this to me. I love you guys. You guys have been amazing. But let's get on to it. 88 lead is going to trigger the contract when we critically hit a debuffed enemy 10 times. It is not bugged the same way the Django lead is, by the way. So just kind of for reference there. But anyways, let's get into the battle here. We're not going to taunt with Bosk. He's faster. We're going to use that mass assist right away. The Mandalorian then triggers the turn meter gain, which is going to let pretty much the entire team go before the opponent. You've got to slow the Mandalorian down so that he does not take a turn until he gets 2 critical hits in. But you do that, his first turn, he can disintegrate Darth Revan, and the squad is severely weakened from there. So 88 is probably going to fall. It's hard to keep him alive. He's very, very squishy, and then you're going to get the death mark on there with anybody else. But the rest of the team holds up very well. We can get to the boss taunt here, and that's going to help. You've got Grief, who can provide a lot of healing. You've got the Mandalorian, and you've got Django, who have Bounty Hunter's Resolve, so that helps them stay alive. And you can do this with various combinations, by the way. It doesn't have to be this exact team. I'll show you a different version here in a second that wasn't run perfect. There's actually several mistakes, but it's good to show videos with mistakes because that shows that it's a pretty good counter if we're making mistakes and still winning. So here, never really a threat. It's pretty easy to take out Malak because if the battle goes on long enough, if it goes on long enough, you're going to get another disintegrate. But then if you're using Boba Fett, he can execute and has that healing immunity. The execute works great with all those stacks of ferocity. That battle had Django. He's got a healing immunity, hits really hard. His AoE burn attack, the one that we saw was bugged on the last video. That one can reduce max health. So we did that there. So that's why Darth Revan probably looked a little squishier than you would expect there at the end. That's because he had his max health reduced. So that definitely can help there. And then let's flip over to the second video. This was a video that was kind of earlier in testing when ZoeFett was trying to run this, and this was with Boba. So one thing you could actually do here, you could actually even use the execute because a lot of people like to save that, but that's going to be reset. Grief's going to reset that on the payout. The AoE kind of triggered the fear there, so that may not have been the best option. We could have gotten an extra turn in there for Boba, but that's okay. It's still going to work pretty well. Again, 88 goes down quick. Here, I would have taunted with Bosk obviously he's a great tank, and you want to get that offense up for everybody. I had specified when I was giving instructions, specified don't use the taunt. Make sure you use the mass assist because everybody wants to use the taunt first. And that was my fault on providing bad instructions there. I was talking about the beginning, not the end. If we had a taunted there, I would have saved Boba over there. Boba, we didn't really know how much damage we were going to do on the execute, so turns out should have waited for that execute on Darth Malak until we got a few extra stacks of ferocity there, and then probably could have taken him out. But we get the disintegrate right there, so you can see. Mandalorian's a great way to get around Darth Malak because you can get a disintegrate in there. So again, this one was definitely not played perfect. Again, this is early in testing, first time running these teams, so don't be critical of anybody with the airs, because it takes some time to figure out exactly what's going on. These are battles that have never been run before. So again, huge shout out to ZoeFett for running that. And it's okay that there were mistakes, because like I said, if it works well, like that was a pretty, obviously we lost 2 characters, but we were never close to really losing that match. And so when it works that well, even when there's airs, that shows that it's a pretty good counter and it works really well. It can be reliable, because you never know what's going to happen when you get into a battle, whether you're going to make mistakes or have some untimely RNG, whether it's multiple dodges that go wrong or something that doesn't go right, or maybe you're just trying to run this with a slightly weaker team and you underestimate it or something like that. Things don't always go the way we plan, so it's good that we know there's still a good chance that it can work out. So again, you do have to have a Bosk that is faster than Darth Revan, which does require better mods, but not insanely better mods or anything like that. It's nothing that's nobody would ever have that. It's not like there's no way you could outspeed Darth Revan with Bosk. That's certainly a possibility. And then you do want critical chance. You want a lot of critical chance, by the way. You get 20% critical chance from the IG-88 lead. We want to make sure those hits are critical hits. They got to be critical hits to trigger that payout. So you want that critical chance ideally at 80% or higher, so that it's essentially 100%, and then you're guaranteed to land those critical hits. And then the Mandalorian needs to be essentially between 40 and 69% of Bosk's speed. You don't want, he's going to get 30% turn meter when Bosk uses that opening AoE. You don't want him to go right away. You don't want the Mandalorian to go next, because we haven't hit that contract yet. You want to wait until Grief triggers the assist, and then after both the Bosk and the Grief assist, you're guaranteed to have that payout triggered. Again, assuming there's no, unless you get an insane amount of dodges or something like that, or they're modded for critical avoidance and you're missing a few critical hits, but you're pretty much going to have the payout trigger at that point. That's going to allow the Mandalorian to disintegrate, and then it's pretty easy cleanup from there once Darth Revan doesn't even get a single turn. So that's a pretty fun battle. Again, we've seen some other counters or other uses for bounty hunters countering Darth Revan, not necessarily promoting this one as the best one, but I wanted to show it to you because I think it's pretty cool. I like using IG-88 since we don't get to see him a lot, so using him is certainly pretty cool. And I also like to show that we had some debate after my last video about whether on a contract an enemy had to be debuffed before the start of the turn, and you can clearly see from this IG-88 lead, like on the Bosk first assist, there's no debuff to start the turn, yet they all count towards the contract. So it's inconsistent there. There's definitely some bugs going on. I'm not going to completely get into that, but for those of you who have been in the debate about, is there a bug with the bounty hunter contracts? If there is, who is actually the one bugged? What's going on? We still don't have a definite answer. I still think it's the Django lead that is bugged. But something is bugged there, whether it's Django or IG-88. Hopefully we don't get an IG-88 nerf. Hopefully bringing that bug to the devs' attention. It does not. They don't say, nope, it's 88 that's working wrong, we're going to nerf him. That better not happen. Poor IG-88. So anyways, that's all I've got. A couple fun videos there. Something you bounty hunter players can play around with, have some fun with. It's I just love 88 being able to being a lead, taking out Darth Revan. I think it's so cool. So anyways, thanks a lot for tuning in. You guys are awesome. And I've got a few more bounty hunter videos planned, plus some other things coming. I've got a lot. There's so many videos I've got to do. It's hard to get time for everything, but the content's still coming slowly, but it is still coming. So be sure to subscribe, and so you'll get all the notifications there. So thank you guys a ton, and have a good night.